What's up? What's up, fellow gamblers and lowlifes? Welcome to the Opening Edge. I'm your host, Roz, the host with the absolute mostest. But I am joined by two other fantastic hosts, some of my best buddies in the world. We got the four-eyed, doesn't get out of bed for less than plus 1 billion, Mr. Witz over here. Everybody give a little clap to Witz. And then we've got one of the best golfers of our friend group, because, honestly, probably not even close to being a scratch golfer. This guy only uses 1 unit per bet. We're excited to have him on the show as one of the hosts. Let's give it up for Rube.
You don't have to be a scratch to beat a 45 handicap. Okay. Sorry.
I'm working on my game. I think that's something as we come around. By the way, welcome to the Opening Edge. Best friends since we were young, going on a decade plus of knowing each other here. But I do want to talk about my golf. We're going into golf season, so Rube is still in some hibernation mode. Thank you for making it today. I know you don't like to miss your indoor fake AI golf league, so glad you're here.
It's not that. Just when people say something starts at 8 o'clock, typically it starts at 8 o'clock. But our host here is on LA time, so just got to deal with it.
We are on LA time. I am the superstar of this group. I think that's very well known, and this is why we lead by example. And I'm going to be the lead here for this show. But we're here fresh off the draft. A lot going on. And I'm not talking about Michael Penis. I know that's like the one thing everybody wants to talk about. You guys, notably so, from Chicago, giant Bears fans-ish. One of you is not allowed to talk Chicago Bears. The other one, I'm giving half a percentage point. It's like owning stock in something. You guys had the money to buy into a nice couple shares, and you chose to just dabble with a $5. It's like what Robinhood gives you when you first enter their app or their website, the $5 bonus. And you especially, Witz, I don't know what you put $1 into it. You're just $1, here it is. But
I thought he was more of a Packer fan now.
Roz has 1 share of the Green Bay Packers. I think he wants everybody to know. $250 worth. Probably worth more now.
$250 piece of paper.
$240 framed note by notarist of Green Bay. Yes, I am an owner of the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to owners around the league. Roger Goodell, I was very impressed with the way he handled himself in Detroit at the draft, and the draft will be in Green Bay next year. So I'm very, very excited to show you guys what Oneida Street looks like when everybody is in the Mecca, Lambeau Field, the greatest field in the NFL. But let's do draft takeaways. That's what we're starting off with. We're coming in hot. I know I already made the Michael Penix joke, but are you guys just so tunnel visioned on the Bears right now that that's the thing that's most exciting to you guys, or is there other draft things that we made money? Let's just go with that. We'll start off with we made money, except for the 100-to-1 bettor in our top left corner over here, but we did make money.
Some good picks from the draft expert, Mr. Roz here. Zaner had a couple fun ones, but came out on top.
Is it light? Are you just is it spotlighting right now? Is it you're just so excited that you got 2 new flashy cars, Rube, that you think the Bears are instantly content? Are they instantly content?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so in a division that's not the best in the NFL.
Is this pre-seeing the tweet I shared with you guys?
I didn't see the tweet you shared with us, but I mean, it's as exciting as a time to be a Bears fan as it's been in a while. We've never had any sort of quarterback, and who knows if Caleb Williams will show out or not, but having the number 1 pick come in with a pretty good receiver to pair with him, and then a number of other offseason moves in what I would say a pretty winnable division. I think they're in as good of a spot as they've been in a long time.
Well, yeah, this is not a winnable division. What are you talking about?
I'm excited about the Bears. I definitely am, but I think you've got 2 teams that are, I would say, better right now, and I'm not going to say clearly because we'll have to see how it shakes out. But
can you
Detroit Lions?
Okay.
Yeah, the Lions and the Packers. I'm not going to hide from it. If they don't win the division this year, I know that people like you are gonna, it didn't work out. But I just want to see him compete a little bit more. Yeah, people like you.
I don't think it's going to work out for the Bears. Period. It's not.
It might not.
It's not a 1-year basis. I did the same thing with Fields. I was scared of Justin Fields when you drafted him. Your negligence wasn't my fault. I think the Bears have run on negligence for a long time, and I think you agree with me.
I do, but I mean, I feel bad for Justin Fields. I mean, he leaves 1 year and you bring in Keenan Allen, you draft a top 10 receiver, you got DJ Moore. So yeah, I do feel a little bit for him, but this is the way it played out. And if you're a Panthers fan, this was just a major blow looking at not only Caleb Williams, but all the different players that have come along for Bryce Young. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I think the Lions are clear cut still the best team in the division. And you look at the fourth year, the fourth year of Jordan Love. I mean, what they did in the playoffs, they should have beat the 49ers. And the Lions should have too. So I think it'll be exciting. It'll be competitive, but as long as we get some competition from the Bears, I think it'll be a good year.
I was relatively shocked, and maybe not Rube here, but I was shocked because we're going to do division lines and where we like it fresh off the draft and everything. Relatively shocked that the Vikings are 10-1, and it's not so much that they're that far back with a rookie quarterback, although the Bears are doing the same exact thing, I may add. But everybody else is under 3-1. You got the Bears at plus 265, you got the Packers plus 210, and you've got the Detroit Lions at plus 150. With the weapons JJ McCarthy has, and again, rip me to shreds if you want here, and coming off of winning a national championship, the guy's a proven winner with a lot of pieces, a Ferrari and a Lambo, and then an amazing teacher and steward of the game, and Aaron Jones behind him in the backfield. 10-1 is like, for being a Packers fan, there's almost like solidarity in the fact that like I will be happy when we win the division, which we will, but why not put a couple shekels 10-1 on the Vikings? I mean,
I don't disagree with you there. Like, I'll go back to my earlier point. I think it's a very winnable division. I think the Bears, who knows? They've got a lot of promise, but I don't think there's any guarantees. I could definitely see some regression with the Lions. I mean, I think Jared Goff played about what I would argue to his ceiling last year. And yeah, Jordan Love had a fantastic 10 games down the stretch, but it was 10 games. So if JJ McCarthy plays average.
You know who he's 1-0 against?
No, who?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, well, he played 10 good games. I mean, who's to say he doesn't come back to earth this season? He might not. But, if JJ McCarthy proves to be average with the weapons he has around him, a division that I could see getting in with 10 wins, you never know. I think it's worth a stab at 10-1.
Some refer to me as the quarterback whisperer. I think I am in terms of knowledge about quarterbacks around the NFL. And then I guess the opposite of that would be a quarterback screamer, somebody who just yells out and throws stuff at the wall and hope it sticks, and that's Witz. But I am curious, while we're on this, where's Jared Goff in your lineup of quarterbacks? Witz, I think the slander towards Goff is a little upsetting. The guy's been to a Super Bowl, and the guy did have a 20-point lead in the NFC Championship game. I know it's squandered, and you could maybe blame some on him, but a lot of hate for a guy that I feel like you could come to a defense for. No?
I definitely could. I mean, he was traded to the Lions. He was basically left for dead getting traded to the Lions.
Wins.
And I know. And all he's done the past few years is kind of build up with this team and Dan Campbell. And I think they're building something pretty special. I mean, Detroit, really for the majority of our lives, has been one of the laughing stocks of the NFL, even when they had a very capable quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So going from left for dead, basically on the side of the road, to where they're at now, I mean, I think the Lions are doing a lot of good things, right? And they're trying to build up their defense. They took Branch from Alabama last year. I forget the guy's name, but they took another corner from Alabama, I think, in the first round this year. So I think it's an exciting time to be a Lions fan. I mean, and I think they've done a great job with, really a team that was near the bottom of the barrel just, 3 or 4 years ago.
Quick to cap them, though, are you like, what's the shelf life of a Lion these days? Like, I don't know if this is just like history repeating itself in my future predictions, but like there seems to be a shelf life for this Lions team, and I could be 2 to 3 years. A lot of money spent on Amon-Ra, a lot of money spent on Penei Sewell this past week. And are they gonna pay Goff, the guy who's been winning? Is he a quarterback that gets that kind of money? Or is this a team that's going to bank on drafting a quarterback, but they're going to be too good to draft a quarterback in that early time frame? Like it just smells like potential regression is right around the corner for this team.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a pessimist on the Lions. I think
right, they're the Lions.
They couldn't stop a nosebleed at times last year, and I mean with Goff, I think he's played well, but I think they need to put up 25, 30 points a game to keep up with their defense sometimes. I know they get after the quarterback well, but they're vulnerable in the secondary, and if Goff takes a step back this year and they end up with 8, 9 wins, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Anybody win the draft for you guys? Like this team, here we go. Perfect example. Did anybody Houston Texan the draft this year for you guys? The way the Houston Texans were dead, were Lovie Smith dead to rights, all the way to a playoff team last year. Do you feel that air or aura for any of these teams coming out of the draft? I mean, Jordan Morgan might have been the best pick of the draft at 25 for the Packers. I mean, this guy is going to be a Hall of Fame tackle. And I can already see the pieces of David Bakhtiari and AJ and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love and now this guy, Jordan Morgan. I see a lot of similarities in the path to winning a Super Bowl this season, but I'm curious if
David Bakhtiari hasn't played since Brett Favre was a Packer. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's reminiscent. A lot of I'm reminiscing, and then I'm just being gifted. I'm just being gifted that opportunity again with a starting tackle and then a Hall of Fame quarterback in Jordan Love. I'm just curious if there's other teams that stick out to you. Rube, I know maybe the Bears of your stick out. Maybe that's like.
I mean, that's the obvious answer. Like I think everyone kind of knew who they were picking for a while. Obviously, it was Caleb, and there was a good chance that Rome was going there too. But as far as where a team was a week ago versus now, on paper at least, right? I think the Bears have improved more than anyone, especially since the end of last season, with adding Allen and Everett, and now Rome and Caleb as well. So. Who knows? You never know how these guys pan out. I'm not going to sit here and say Caleb Williams is a Hall of Famer today, but it's an exciting prospect to have. And if it does pan out, they're a lot better team than they were at this point last year.
And this has no indication that they would have known what the Texans were doing, but like it is interesting to me that the Bears Super Bowl odds have not changed since the draft. They're still 40-1.
Yeah, well, I think everyone knew who they were taking, so it wasn't like they. I mean, everyone knew the Bears were taking Caleb Williams since January 20th.
But it was 40-1 before Keenan Allen. It was 40-1 before Rome Odunze. It was like, I don't know.
Well, I think like Rome Odunze was penciled into every mock draft to the Bears for the last 6 months. So I don't think anything's really changed.
That much of the talent they're saying he is.
When has a third receiver ever changed the team Super Bowl odds? Never.
Okay. Hey, you're just speaking. You don't
speaking like a Packers fan over there. Come on.
Best receiving,
is he not the third receiver right now?
No, I'm talking to Ross, not using him. Being the idiot.
Again, look at the Super Bowl team the Packers won with 5 receivers deep. Packers are 5 receivers deep again. You need the slots. You need the 2 outside guys. You need a lot of that. But you don't have to come at me about this, Witz. I'm not saying a third receiver makes or breaks anything. That might be exactly the point where the Bears are just happy with the starlight, with the big names, with the flashy players, the Ferrari and the Lambo. Maybe it's just a Toyota. You don't know. And
when your all-time leading receiver has less than 5,500 yards all time, a lot of things look like a Ferrari and a Lambo. So yeah.
Hey, I'm
all about it.
I come from a winning culture. I'm just asking our friend Rube here, Witz. You had to get all feisty. We know your money's not on them. We're sure you're taking somebody 100-1 to win it all. I don't know who that quite is yet, but I guess for Rube, it's the Chicago. Do you have any interest? Was there anybody in the NFL draft this year? Any team that kind of gave you a little chutzpah about coming into this 2024-2025 season?
I mean, I like what the Chargers did. I think, they could have reached and went for a receiver, but sure up that offensive line for Justin Herbert. I think they've got, really good protection for him now. And obviously they've got some needed pass catchers, but Xander's boy, Lad McConkey, I think will help start that train a little bit. I still think they need some more pieces, but I'm confident what Harbaugh's doing there. I think he's going to turn that team around. And starting up front with a franchise quarterback like that, I don't think can go wrong necessarily. So I think the Chargers, adding what some people might say is the best player in the draft, and Joe Alt at 5. I think I like what they're doing so far.
Feel free, Witz. I know you like Jimmy Hars.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing not
The
to
guy's
like.
a perennial cheater, so floor's yours.
He's a winner.
He's a winner. I mean, the guy, he won at San Diego, he won at Stanford, he won at, with the 49ers, he won at Michigan. All the guy does is go into pretty shitty situations and rebuild teams to get them either back to where they were or kind of find a new level that they never had before. So, I mean, I like the Joe Alt pick as well. You basically knew that when he came in, he was going to, strip this team down. And the first couple of things he did was got rid of Keenan Allen and got rid of Mike Williams. And I think, with a quarterback and Justin Herbert, it's definitely not as sexy of a team as it was maybe a couple of years ago. But I think, these things take time. And, Jim Harbaugh, he's a guy that really believes in, building up the offensive line, which I really think is probably the most important part of any team. So I like the pick. Another team that I thought had a good draft, kind of sneakily for the second year in a row, was the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, this was a team that you thought would kind of flip everything on its head with the Kyler Murray deal. And it looked like they were looking for a new quarterback, but, they drafted an offensive lineman in the top 10 picks last year, drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. They got a good edge rusher at the end of the first round. So I think the Arizona Cardinals, I think, are a team that is not going to compete this year, but over the next couple of years here, I think they've got a plan. And if they believe in Kyler Murray, I don't necessarily believe in him, but he's definitely shown some spurts of, being a very capable NFL quarterback. So with a talent like Marvin Harrison, I think they're a team that had a solid draft because there was a few teams that I just didn't understand the picks. Atlanta being one of them, Vegas being another team, but we'll see. It's just a draft. It's just another way that we can talk about the NFL, 6 months before the first snap.
It is, but I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I don't know if again we'll pull it up for you here, but the NFC South has Atlanta as -130. I'm not like this. Michael Penix thing might have zero factor on this season at all, but the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are the favorite to win that division. And I know it's a shitty division, although again, Baker and the Bucks, feisty team, didn't lose a whole lot there. Carolina can be 15-1. There's not much to say about Bryce Young and Xavier Legette now. Good to move up there, so they have a fifth-year option. So be it if he pans out. And the Saints plus 380. I mean, maybe I'm fucking crazy here. I mean, Kirk probably is the best quarterback in this division now, but Kirk's a little pissed. The guy signs a deal with a no trade clause, so he can't go anywhere. Now you got a guy, Michael Penix, who's going to be 28 by the time that he's done being an Atlanta Falcon. Kirk Cousins, like -130 seems like a lot for a team that doesn't really seem like it has its head on straight and certainly didn't really give a shit about amplifying the defensive side of the ball. Just my take.
Yeah. I mean, I think that division, it stunk last year, and I think it still stinks this year. As far as the Falcons being the favorite, I'd probably lean there just because assuming Kirk comes back healthy, he's got some offensive weapons around him. So could see them being a pretty decent team, but the rest of that division, man, I don't know where else to go. Like, I don't think Baker's going to put up the numbers he did last year. Obviously, Carolina's a dumpster fire. And then down in New Orleans, who knows what you're getting out of Derek Carr. Haven't seen much in the last few years, if anything. I know we've talked quite a bit about watching Derek Carr play on Sundays and the amount of joy it brings us.
The opening edge is not. We usually close for business. We're no longer open when it comes to Derek Carr on Sundays.
Yeah, too much time in Galveston for Derek Carr.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not big fans. I mean, Witz, is there somebody you like in this division outside of Atlanta? The weapons speak for itself, but Rube, you're just talking about like that's a team. Maybe they score 40 points here and there during the season, but that defense can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, I would probably stay away from trying to pick a winner of this division. I don't really like any of the teams, and like Rube said, Baker had a great year last year. Is he going to repeat it? I don't. He could, but I mean, I'm not a big believer in really any of these teams. So I think Atlanta -130. It's a little bit too short for me to tie up, money for an entire season. So I'll probably just stay away from this division.
Since one of us has to give a pick, I mean, for me, there is something to just trusting in Baker and what's going on down there in Tampa. I mean, not a big Todd Bowles guy myself, but they did take down the Eagles in the playoffs. For however bad you think the Eagles actually are, I'm going to tell you to take Tampa minus or 3-1 here in this division. We'll go through the divisions before we move on and out of the NFL realm and get you back to actual sports that are happening. But hopefully these guys will join me in giving picks, as that's what this show's all about. Staying in the NFC West, 49ers minus 195 seems like just the obvious thing. Seahawks are in a weird like rebuild thing. I mean, they love Geno Smith, but like we're not totally sure what's going on there. They're 7-1. The Rams are plus 330, maybe sneaky. Stafford still on that team. I know the defense lost Aaron Donald, but they did just draft a defensive tackle to fill up on that line that maybe shoots out the gate fast. And then you've got the Cardinals 13-1, which honestly seems like fun money. And Witz, I don't know if you're on that at all. Like Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray. They were 11-5 or 11-1 to start a season with him. If he's just hot and Marvin Harrison works out the way they do, they did draft for that defense the last couple of years. 13-1 could just be a fun season-long play. But again, 49ers minus 195 might just be the lock of all locks. No, Witz, shook me off.
I think I don't see the 49ers losing that division. I mean, even with injuries, right? I think they're head and shoulders above anyone else. I think hard to tie up on a minus 195 all season, but I think Stafford's not getting any younger. I don't have any confidence in the Seahawks, and I think Arizona's just too early still with some of these young guys. So if I were to take anything, it'd be the Cardinals, maybe find something to parlay it with to make it or the 49ers to parlay it with, maybe make it a little bit more interesting. But I think they're head and shoulders the team to beat there.
Any love for any Rams even, Witz? Nothing?
I think if I would take anybody, it'd probably be the Seahawks, but yeah, it's kind of tough to bet against the Niners unless, Brock Purdy goes down. I think then you might have something there, but, barring injury, I think they're definitely the best team in the division. So nothing I really like there.
Last in the NFC East, we got the division that flips over every single year. I think the Eagles were the first team, and they didn't even get to this year. I just realized the Eagles, having lost out the way they did, kept the pattern going. There has not been back-to-back NFC East division champions in 20 years. What do we think? Dallas is plus 130. The Eagles are plus 130. Commanders plus 750, and the Giants ring it in at 10-1. Curious, this is a Witz division here. Witz has a lot of love. The guy is a secret Giants fan. The guy might have some love for the commies. Who knows? And you definitely know his allegiances with the Jalen Hurts Philadelphia Eagles, who couldn't have looked worse in their last 6 games, finishing last year 1-5. Witz, I'll let you take it away. I don't actually know where I'm at on this one. Dallas, I hate so much, but the Eagles stunk. And I think plus 130 is generous at this point in the year. But you could tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong. I think the Eagles are the clear-cut favorite for me. I think one of their biggest struggles last year was, losing, both their offensive and defensive coordinator. And I think that really caught up to Sirianni near the end. And I think they brought in a couple guys, Vic Fangio on the defensive side of the ball.
An 11-1 team that loses those guys, Witz. Like, that's unexplainable. How do you let that happen?
I don't know, but they let it happen. But I think they addressed a couple big needs in the draft. Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo. I think they're going to shore up some things on the defensive side of the ball. And Cooper DeJean. That's right. I don't think Dallas has really done that much to improve. I mean, I know they took Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, try to shore up the offensive line, but it comes with the departure of Tyron Smith. So I don't think they've really gotten much better. And I just think the Eagles I think they're poised for a comeback this year. And I think they're a better team overall than Dallas. And I don't think the Commanders or the Giants really have any chance to sniff this division. So I like the Eagles. I would take them probably all the way up to, I would say, like minus 110. I think it's a pretty good price.
Rube, I just know there's something in you. I know.
You think I'm going one way on this? I've been a very vocal Jalen Hurts hater in the past, but from a pure number standpoint here, I mean, I really like the Eagles, not only for just the division, but at 17-1 for the Super Bowl. I mean, if you looked at their odds a year ago, you're probably getting 6-1 on them, and they're really, from a roster standpoint, not much of a different team. Obviously, Jason Kelce retires, but outside of that, a lot of the same pieces that were in a Super Bowl, and we're a drive away from beating Patrick Mahomes 16 months ago. So from a
Oh
I guess
my
buying the bottom
God.
on the Eagles here, I
Oh,
like the number. The end of last season was weird. Sometimes things like that happen in the NFL, but getting a team like that, I think they're coming in behind the Ravens, the Bills, the Bengals, who haven't shown anything really outside of the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Who knows how he comes back this year? But I do like that number on the Eagles, even though I have not been the biggest Jalen Hurts fan in the past. But the number is the number, so I think it's a little juicy one to start the year off with.
hey, let's quickly go through the AFC. AFC North, again, could be a division of just absolute horror, not knowing where it's going to go. Burrow, hopefully back healthy, really hopefully back healthy. Guy you want to see playing on Sundays. It's better for the NFL. They're plus 165 in Cincinnati. Cleveland is plus 600, 6-1. You got the Steelers at plus 850, and Baltimore coming into the top plus 115. There, geez, I'm stuttering at this point. I don't know. Again, lean on fun. I don't believe in Cleveland. I don't think they know what they're doing at quarterback. I don't know why Flacco had to go out the door. They do have Jameis, so for fantasy football purposes, which we're months away from really diving into here on this show, that could be fun if he gets in. Let's just put it at that. Witz, I feel like this is again. I feel like I knew you coming into this show. Seems like I'm going the other direction here, but the Steelers seem like a fun pick potentially here.
They really don't seem like that fun of a pick to me, just because I don't. They didn't. If I'm going to take any
Fucking financial advisor over here.
I mean, it's not very much fun. I mean, they brought in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Like that doesn't get me excited. I think if I'm going to take any team, it'd definitely be Cleveland. I mean, I think taking plus 115 or plus 165 with two teams that are good, right? But Cincinnati, right? We had the Burrow injury last year, and Baltimore versus Cleveland. I think Baltimore is definitely a better team. But if Deshaun Watson plays 80% as good as what he's ever played, one of the best defenses in the league, I just think getting 6-1 versus plus 115, I couldn't justify betting on the Ravens at that price. I just couldn't.
The Deshaun Watson anything. The guy's out of spunk, and clearly there's a bunch of cases to say why. But he's dead to me. I honestly, they're better chances with Jameis Winston. They were a better team with Joe Flacco at the helm. So that's why I can't be on Cleveland. I don't think they know what they're doing there behind center. I mean, Bengals to me are the fun plus 165. I think with a full season of Burrow, which is asking a lot, the guy's been injury prone. Let's call a spade here. I understand that. But he's the best quarterback in this division, and I'm just banking on healthy season. I take them plus 165.
Yeah, give me Baltimore. I think they're the best team in the division. I know it's the shortest number, but I think they wear teams down over the season. Who knows in the playoffs? This isn't a playoff bet. Over 17 games, I think they're hard to beat.
AFC East, the Bills still the favorite, plus 160. Jets 2-1, Dolphins 2-1, and the Patriots 25-1. An interesting one.
I think I would go with the Bills here. I mean, yeah, I think they didn't play that well. I think they're still the best team. And I think Josh Allen he's the best quarterback right now in that division. I mean, you can make an argument for Rodgers, but I like the Bills here. I don't really have a good reason for it, but I think everybody's kind of sleeping on them now, and they're not really the front runner. So I'll take them. I think they're the most talented team in the division.
Really? With who? Josh?
Quarterback goes a long way. Give me Miami here, though. I think they're getting a little bit of a discount because of how they played in the playoffs, and I don't think there's a clear-cut winner in this division. So,
Tua,
I don't want any part of Aaron Rodgers.
You're banking on Josh Allen without anybody there. I mean,
and you go bank on the 45-year-old guy. Come on, give me your reasoning.
2-1 taking the Jets. The guy's the most angry man in the world. Don't ever fucking count on a guy who's out. He's not out. He's not done. He's got something to prove, whether it's to me as a Packers fan or to you guys as doubting the 45-year-old. I mean, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl at 46, it feels like. So give me 2-1.
His Achilles at 45, though.
Hey, apparently Rodgers is running like a professional. His speed's up. He's faster now.
Apparently he was going to start week 13 last year. A lot of apparentlys on the internet.
Only thing derailing this is if he runs with RFK for vice president. But I don't even think that's going to be the thing. Chiefs minus 225. I don't think we have to go into this division unless Witz really needs to back his Chargers. Chargers are plus 300, 3-1 there. It seems low as shit. I know they have Herbert, but that team around him isn't ready for a division crown. Raiders 12-1, Broncos 15-1. Just don't seem like they're there yet. In my opinion, this is an easy. I mean, I'm not betting -1 or minus 225 unless you're doing a full parlay of all the AFC division winners. I wouldn't touch that. AFC
How about that Chiefs Niners parlay? Because it feels too easy.
Chiefs
That's a very Roz. It's a very Roz bet. But
that'd be a Rozian bet.
Feels too
Honestly,
easy.
You know you're getting plus value at those numbers, so maybe I just do that. It's free cash taken home with you. Put the mortgage on it. Lastly, we've got AFC South. Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Colts plus 340, Titans 10-1. Interesting. Jaguars plus 240 and Houston plus 110. It is kind of jumbled up. I do think the Texans are weirdly. I know he's only a sophomore quarterback, leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of these teams. Call me crazy. I know I was on the Anthony Richardson train last year, but I'm plus 110. I'm going with the Texans. You can't convince me otherwise. Anthony Richardson, we got to see if he can stay on the field. The Titans still believing in Will Levis. More weapons than God in Tennessee at this point for him. So good luck, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. I mean, that team could be explosive if he's throwing the ball the right way. I'm done on the Trevor Lawrence thing. Feel free to believe in whatever you want to believe in there, Witz, on Trevor Lawrence, but I'm done with him.
I think I would take the Jags if I was going to take anybody here. I think, Houston, exciting team, very good team, but I mean, the buildup has been crazy. I mean, I think I'll put Houston and then the Bears, the two most hyped up teams right now. And I think they could be great, but it smells like, it's a little bit too good to be true. So I think at plus 240, if I was going to take any team, I think I would take the Jags here. I think they've shown they are a playoff team, very capable. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, kind of underwhelming, but I think if they put it together, I could easily see them winning this division. I think it's going to be pretty tough. I mean, the Colts, the Titans, Jags, I think it's going to be a division that kind of beats itself up a little bit. And, CJ Stroud, golden boy last year, I mean, MVP odds are skyrocketing. Is he going to have a little bit of regression? He might. So I think I would take the Jags here if I was going to take anybody.
Yeah, give me the Colts here. I think similar reason to Witz.
Got our boy Pat McAfee. We love a little Indianapolis.
I think they're well coached. I think Anthony Richardson's an unknown, but if they can get like a poor man's Jalen Hurts type of performance out of Anthony Richardson, who's to say they can't be up there? I think the Texans obviously were the story last year, and Stroud was unbelievable, but still is only his second year. There's going to be growing pains. He's not going to be, in my opinion, he's not going to be a surefire MVP candidate right off the bat this year. So if they struggle a little bit with all the hype, I think the Colts have shown that they can compete. So at that number, I think I'd take a shot there.
That's the NFL for this week and probably for a little bit. We've got to cover all the other sports. We're just going to run through real quick, yay or nays on the basketball stuff before we give you our CJ Cup. By the way, shout out CJ Cup. We've been big winners there in our past. We've got a lot of knowledge coming into this one. Basketball, I will take care of it for the boys here. I'm just giving series prices. Some of them basically over. We've got basically a tie game up 3-0 right now in the series of the Thunder over the Pelicans. It'd be 40-1 to put money on the Pelicans to come all the way back. It's never happened in the NBA. There's never been a 3-0 comeback. Tie game. They might take tonight's game. You're hearing this show on Wednesday. I'm assuming you guys are good to move on. Thunder are going to advance at this situation. Feeling smart coming from Zion Williamson. Yeah, we move on to another interesting. The Timberwolves already gone. I do want to hit on that at the end for a second. The Clippers and Mavericks might be the best matchup of all the matchups, East and West. 2-2. The price right now, Mavericks minus 190, the Clippers plus 160. Where are we at with this? We got Kyrie, who's playing the best ball of his life, but we understand how Kyrie balls. Obviously, the Clippers have their team around him. James Harden cooking by Luka in that last game. 2-2. Are you guys just taking the plus value in this series since it's even at this point, or you riding the Mavericks?
I'm going to give the lean. I think it's been a great series. I'll give the lean to Dallas, though. I think I'll just take the best player on the floor at the end of the day. But it has been exciting seeing, James Harden turn back the clock a little bit the last couple of games. We haven't seen this type of Harden since he left Houston, basically. So it's definitely been an exciting series. Like you said, by far the most interesting first round series. And I think it's going to go 7. I just think give the slight edge to Dallas to pull it out.
Witz.
Yeah, I like Dallas as well. I think the Clippers, I feel like there's going to be some sort of trouble with them trying to bring Kawhi back into the rotation, and things aren't going to go well. Game 4, you had Luka picked up 2 fouls in the first like 3 minutes of the game, and they almost came back and won anyways. But I think they're the better team, and I think this Clippers experiment is on its last leg here, and I think them losing to Dallas, it's going to be the nail in the coffin.
That's fair. They don't actually give price odds on this Heat Celtics series that just went to 3-1. Celtics just closed it out. Another double-digit victory, winning both in Miami. I know what I said to you boys off camera about the Celtics being the Celtics in the postseason. They're going to move on in advance. But we also have another 2-2 series, not as entertaining, in my opinion, as the Clippers and the Mavericks. But you do have 2-2 Magic and Cavs. The Cavs are minus 175, Magic plus 145. Again, I'm actually on this one leaning towards the Cavs. I think they're the better team. I think this inexperienced Orlando team, welcome to the dance. You're finally back. Maybe you're rebuilding and stuff, but it does seem like it's going to be a Cavs series, but I could be wrong. And maybe you guys have a different flavor in your mouth.
I mean, trying to find someone to score the ball in this series has been atrocious. I think they could use Witz out there and a little ISO on the wing to help. Maybe someone will break 100. Maybe someone will break 100 next game. But I think I'd lean Cleveland. I just think at the end of the day, they've got, Donovan Mitchell, who's a proven scorer. I think that Orlando they're a little bit young. They don't really have a go-to scorer at the end of the day that I would trust, at least. But again, who knows? If they play this series like the 1990s and they're playing games in the high 80s, low 90s, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's been I don't want to say not a very fun series. You got 4 blowouts. The home team is, won every game. So can Orlando turn the tide here? Obviously, episode's going to air after the game Tuesday night, but I think I take Orlando here. I think they're going to win Game 5 on the road against Cleveland, and you've got Paolo Banchero. I think he puts up a 30-point performance, and yeah, I think Cleveland is a team that's been a little disappointing. I know they dealt with some injuries this year, but they didn't really get over the hump like I thought they would. And I think Orlando, won a couple games, finding a little confidence here. So hopefully they can take that on the road for Game 5, which will be played last night if you're listening on Wednesday.
And then not much to discuss here. I don't think we think the Lakers are going to be the first team in NBA history to come back from 3-0. I won't even give you the prices on that one. It's actually 14-1 for the Lakers. I think it ends again 2 nights from. You're going to hear this 2 nights ago. I think the Nuggets were able to cap it.
Hey, they snapped the streak. They snapped the 11-game streak.
What are you in on? Would you take 14-1?
No.
Okay. Here's where I'm going to need some help. This is where I know we're competitors. I know we have a lot of shit to say about one another. We've got a lot of history dating back on the 3 of us here. Give me my Bucks 10-1 down 3-1. Anybody got love for them? Are we joining? Anybody want to hop?
Bucks are dead. I think Lillard and Giannis are doubtful for Game 5. I think they're going to close them out.
Role players, baby. The Bucks are built on role players. No love. Dead to rights.
You don't have.
I did take
role players help when you've got stars.
I will admit to taking a 22-1 finalist bet. Bucks versus Nuggets in the NBA Finals. So I am holding on for dear life. That's all I'm holding on to. Doesn't sound like you're giving them any love there. And then the last series, obviously, being Knicks Sixers. If there was ever a team to come back or a team to blow this lead, the Sixers are only plus 650. Or you guys riding the Nova Knicks?
Dude, you got to ride the Knicks.
I think this one's a little bit more enticing than the Bucks. I don't think the Sixers are totally dead. I don't think they're going to come back, but plus 650. It took the Knicks 47 from Brunson last night to win. I don't think that's happening again. So I think they're going to actually come back. No, but they steal one on the road, get back to Philly. You never know.
Sharp
Dude,
dead.
you trust in Tobias Harris, you lose.
I trust in Joel if he can stay on the court, which is a big
Dude,
if.
Joel's been sucking wind after the first quarter and a half every
I
game. I
know.
mean, it's hard.
That's
It's
how
hard
you
coming
really feel.
back from
This is one of
injury.
your bets. This is one of your bets. It's just a donation to the sports book for a little bit of entertainment.
Yeah, but I like the Knicks, so it's hard for me to bet against them.
Wow, like the Knicks, all you and the New York teams, Mets, Knicks. You might as well be from New York. Who knew?
Yeah, I mean,
No one would have guessed you were a Riverwoods kid from the fucking suburbs of Chicago.
the New York teams, they always it's like
Who do
fever
you know
pitch, you
from New
know.
York?
They're
Where's Toddy from?
so they never let you down. They're always there.
They never let you down.
It's a joke from the movie. They're always there.
They're definitely
82
there.
games, they're always there.
They'll play. They have to play. There's a
They
rule.
have to
They
exactly.
have
That's what I'm talking about.
162 games for the Mets as well. I love that the only New York team you didn't take on was the one that wins the most championships in the Yankees. But to each their own, as they would say. Done with the NBA. KD is a fraud, as you can see on the billboard or blackboard behind me. There's not much more to say about that, except for I learned that the only options they have this offseason would be to find trade partners for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Bradley Beal, no trade clause, and they would have to ask Kevin Durant to waive his, but they don't have enough money to sign, other than veteran minimum, they don't have enough money to add players at a different value unless they trade. It is going to be $52 million off the book for Bradley Beal, 57 for Kevin Durant, and 49 for Devin Booker. Talk about a payroll.
You would think they could always just go add through the draft, but I heard a stat today that they don't have a draft pick until 2031. So that's not going to help.
Yeah. I guess when you go to the NBA finals with a great young core, I guess the only answer is to blow it up and spend $1 billion on three guys who don't play together. And when they do, they don't play well. So the Suns have nobody to blame but themselves, and Mikal Bridges, just a guy that you couldn't get rid of, and they did.
Dude, there's nobody on the planet who loves Mikal Bridges more than his mother and you. And his mother couldn't even keep him on the original team he was drafted to. They traded him right away to the Suns. So that's funny. It's funny. At least you're sticking with him. I honestly believe there's a real possibility the people on this Zoom right now, one of us has a child before the next time the Phoenix Suns draft in the first round.
Pretty good bet.
It's a pretty good one. We'll close it off with the edge picks for this week. We'll then sign off. We've got the CJ Cup or the CJ Byron Nelson Cup. I was like looking up, they have like two different names for this tournament this weekend. I'm so excited to deliver my pick, a guy that I think is going to be a long-term golf staple on this show. But I'm curious of any instant picks, any selects you guys have for this coming golf tournament. We'll go to our resident golfer, Jared, our Ruben. Rube, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of a down week on the tour, right? Got Spieth as the favorite
18
for
to
this
1
week. A couple other guys with Zalatoris and Day in there, but one of those weeks where I don't think any of the top guys really excite me. It's a little bit nice to not have Scotty Scheffler in the field, so someone else can actually win the tournament. But one of the first guys that I was looking at about around 50 to 1 was Mackenzie Hughes. He's won on the tour a couple times before. He's had a couple nice starts the last couple weeks, and he's typically performed well in these tournaments that are going to finish. You probably need to get to about 20 under par historically to win this tournament. Both of his wins in the past, I think he's been about 17, 18 under par. So he can ride a hot putter from time to time. He's proven he can do that. And I think at a tournament like this where you really got to go low, I think you need a guy like that. So that's one name that I'll start with this week, and probably look to add a couple more long shot type players here. I just don't think those top guys in the Spieth and Day and Zalatoris and even our boy Siwoo Kim are worthy of a 25 to 1 or lower type of bet.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at a similar spot on the board as Rube. I like Thomas Dietrich, the big Belgian. 3 top 20s in his last 4 events. He was living it up with Bobby McIntyre at the Zurich Classic this past week. Showed a lot of good things. laughing a little bit. I liked what I saw. Thomas Dietrich.
He used to be an
He's
angry
always
guy.
been
Used to
he's
be an
always been known as a very uber talented but very angry guy. Seems like he's coming around a little bit. I mentioned the 3 top 20s in his last 4, tied for 28th at the RBC Heritage a couple weeks ago. So I think he's been playing some good golf, been playing pretty well for the past couple months here, at a couple missed cuts at the start of the year. But I think Thomas Dietrich, 45-1. I definitely like him for a top 20 bet. But if I'm going to throw somebody to sprinkle on pre-tournament, I think he's a good play here. So I would take Dietrich as my top pick.
I am going back to the man who helped purchase me my large TV in my bedroom, the nice 65-incher at 33-1. I'm ripping Tom Hoge, and he is the best iron player in this tournament while Scotty Scheffler is not a part of the field. Give me Tom Hoge. He's my man with the plan. FRL also, that's a lock, right? Like, God forbid he doesn't win this tournament. I know he's finishing day 1 as the leader. I just think this is his time to shine. Nobody really, I mean, when Jordan Spieth is your fucking favorite at 18-1, the guy hasn't put a ball anywhere near a hole. He's swimming most of the time with the fishes. You don't have to worry about that. I also really do. I want to give a long shot and shout out to Sport Action, a website that all of us are fond with and we like to pay attention to. Ryan Palmer at 110-1 is an interesting pick here. I'm trying to get you his top 10 picks. There it is, 12-1 just for a top 10. I think that's also a lock of a bet. I'll tell you why this is a lock of a bet. Palmer's performed better on average at this course than many of the betting favorites. That is Jordan Spieth, Adam Scott, Jason Day. His success here is grossly undervalued this weekend, and I think he's a man to hop on board with. Again, if it's too risky to do the 110-1, feel free to join Roz, Mr. Bettor himself, at 12-1 on a top 10 performance from Ryan Palmer here at the Byron Nelson. Any closing thoughts here at the Opening Edge? Welcome to a new show. Obviously, Witz and I have been on 2 previous sports shows and maybe sound similar. There might have been a combining of names, but we lost our rights to the last ones. We're back, baby. I mean, holy shit. You get our picks. You make our money. Join our mortgages. I mean, hell, one of you could be our adopted sons. Like we said, one of us could have a child before the Phoenix Suns draft again in the first round. Any closing thoughts, Witz? It's good to see you again on one of these things. You're still uptight. You're still a little tight.
I mean, it's not
That balloon knot. It's
9:15.
got to loosen up. Let some air out.
It's time for bed, man. It's time for bed. It's good to be back. Talking sports again. So yeah, I'm excited.
Rube, welcome to the squad, Rube. Ruby Tuesday is now an official co-host of the Opening Edge.
Yeah, it's official co-host. Yeah, good to be here. Hopefully we can start on time next week. That'd be ideal for us Central Time zoners. But good to be back. Good to be on the Zoom. Hopefully got some winners coming up the next week. We'll see.
Hey, we're hoping you took Tom Hoge with us or Ryan Palmer with us, and you're riding out a win come next Monday and next Wednesday when you hear us. So this has been the Opening Edge. We'll catch you next week, everybody. Keep gambling and keep being a low life. Peace.